Welcome back to Uncommon Experts. Mark's now going to talk to us about relating with integrity. Mark, you also are recognized as a business strategy expert, yet you focus on communication and relationships. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. You know, Amy, I'm a very lucky person. Not very many people that I know truly love what they do and feel that what they do to make a living is their purpose and their passion. And that truly is what I've been lucky and fortunate enough to be able to pursue in my life, is my passion. And my work has a dramatic impact on people's lives. So it's really an amazing situation when you can make a connection with people. That connection has meaning, and then you're able to show them how to create that in their own life, and that from that their life changes and improves. And so that is really what I think is important about integrity, is that you're coming from a different place. The nature of my work is kind of spiritual. I went with my father. I went fishing when I was about 9. Have you ever been fishing? I think you know where Homer is, right?
Absolutely.
Homer,
yeah.
Alaska was where I was born, and it among itself is a very, very inspirational place. It's one of the most beautiful, pristine places I've ever seen, and I had the fortune of growing up there. And when I was 9 years old, I went fishing with my father. We were doing some halibut fishing, which is deep sea fishing, and pretty soon a whale started going around the boat, about a couple hundred yards out. This is a pretty typical thing to happen in Alaskan waters, not quite that uncommon. But this particular whale then, after about 20 minutes, turned its attention towards our boat and started coming right at the boat. And as a 9-year-old boy, I was a little excited and fearful at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, it kept kind of coming up, breaching a little bit, just barely coming out of the water as it was getting closer and closer and closer. And before you know, it's like 50 feet out and it goes under the water. And there's a moment where there was complete stillness, where your little sir, is he going to sink the boat? And he came right up, maybe it was a she, but he came right up, and we were able to look right down on it. It went underneath the boat, came back to the other side, and then it turned, and its big left eye looked at me square in what I felt was my heart at the time. And neither one of us looked away. We looked right into each other.
Wow.
And I was inspired. And at that point in time, the whale turned and disappeared forever. And in that moment, I think I made a decision about life, and that is that nature wants to connect with nature. And so all of us have this desire to make a connection. All of us have the skill to make a connection. But what happens is we get layers and layers of failure, hardship, difficulties that allow us to kind of put up barriers to making that connection. So when you're talking about communicating with integrity, it talks about getting out of our head and coming from your heart. Really coming from that place like the whale did. It was just solely curious in what we were doing, who we were. It could hear our heartbeats. I mean, think about that. If you could hear the heartbeat of every person you talk to, how would that change your connection with them? If you knew they could hear your heartbeat when you're excited or perhaps aroused or just feeling a connection, they can feel that if we let go of all the other stuff. So the nature of my work actually is very spiritual in nature. If you go to my website, where I have about $500 of free training, that's all on things about professional communication, where you're going to learn how to have more effective meetings, how to do a great sales presentation that's persuasive and closes business. Tons of things there for that. But it's not until you get a little bit deeper into the home study work, or actually coming to my 2-day retreat, where you really start to see more of the things at work that help you remove those barriers, that allow you to get in touch with that part of you that has a tendency to just want to be and connect. And when you can show people how to come from there, their light lights up, their life changes. And so I think it's important to understand that you communicate with an intention, and you communicate from your heart, coming from that place inside. Have you ever had a situation in your life where maybe you had someone that you were connecting with, and then all of a sudden it was just awkward? Maybe at first there was a rapport or a connection, but then after that it just seemed like it was a little awkward.
Well, sure. I mean, I recall one time that a very good professional relationship had gone for quite a long time, and then all of a sudden they kind of, I felt them pull back a little bit. And as soon as I felt that, I did make it a point to kind of come in, because I do realize that we're all human and there are different levels, and everybody has a personal life going on. Absolutely. So I didn't know if it was something that I did or something that, you know, might have been something completely removed. But I did approach that person, and I took them to lunch and just tried to have a really casual dialogue and let them know that that I cared about our working relationship, but also, you know, if they needed any help with anything else, that I'd be there for them.
Outstanding. Well, you know, and that right there, Amy, really shows a initiative that a lot of people won't take. And that is that there is an awkwardness sometimes that occurs in a relationship. It happens in almost all of our relationships. At some point in time, there is an awkwardness that occurs. Maybe you let someone down. Maybe you said something that was offensive. Maybe there was nothing that occurred. The awkwardness is there. And most people don't address it. Most people just kind of let it go and are fearful of the conflict or the actual awkwardness of talking it through. And what they don't realize is that it's in that awkwardness where you have the ability to really deepen the relationship. I don't know what happened with your particular situation, but if you're dealing with someone who is somewhat spiritually aware, somewhat emotionally intelligent, that they are able to then shift what's going on inside of them and honor that connection. And once you understand that from conflict comes results, that is a huge distinction, and most people are afraid of conflict. So when I come into an organization and I show them how to start talking with integrity, the first thing we got to do is have conversations about the things they don't want to talk about. And that can be difficult. People need to be supported through transformation. They're fearful of change, even if that change is positive and wonderful. The nature of my work is very, very enlightening, very rewarding. Not only does it allow you to make money and get what you want in your goals there and achieve success, but also helps you with the art of fulfillment, which I think is also very important.
And deepen those relationships.
Absolutely.
Great.
That's the key. To me, that's the key to life, is really being able to pinpoint those relationships and know that they're working, that you're serving them, they're serving you back. And I mean, win-win scenarios do occur. It has to be by design.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Up next on Uncommon Experts, Mark will share his book with us, The Inspirational Communicator, and why he doesn't want you to read it. I'm Amy Agnew with Uncommon Experts.